Do you ever have those days where everything seems to be going sideways and you just feel like the unluckiest person alive? Well, get ready, because today we've compiled a list of the most unbelievably unlucky people in the world. Grab yourself a horseshoe or a four-leaf clover because you're gonna need it. Let's get started. Embarrassing moment. Talk about having a bad day. When Gracie moved into her new house, she took on a lot of repairing and DIY projects. So instead of calling a plumber, she decided to try fixing the clogged toilet by herself. However, she forgot to remove her watch, resulting in her hand getting stuck. Now, if you thought being stuck in a toilet was embarrassing enough, Gracie ended up being escorted out of her home with her arm in the toilet. The rescue team had to unscrew the toilet from the sewage pipes and take Gracie out on the lawn to break the porcelain with sledgehammers. She suffered no physical injuries, but a lot of embarrassment.
Oh my God.
Washing machine. Why on earth anyone would want to stick their head in a washing machine puzzles me. But in 2016, one man in China decided to give it a spin. While trying to repair a faulty washing machine, this technician ended up with his head stuck inside. It took 5 firefighters to get him out, but as you can see, it was a dicey job. The firemen needed to use a gas cutter while the man's head was still in the machine. So one small slip and it would have been, well, not ideal. Thankfully, the man was eventually freed. Thief stuck in a window. When you're a burglar, the last thing you want is to get stuck at the scene of the crime. This guy, however, decided to try and enter a supermarket through a tiny ventilation window but got trapped halfway. The unsuccessful thief had his legs dangling outside and even took off his pants hoping to get unstuck. When the police and firemen arrived, they found him in a really sticky situation. He spent about 11 hours in that position, but at least it probably gave him enough time to think about his life choices. Seems like karma really does bite. Stuck in a trash can. In a public trash bin, you're most likely to find raccoons, rats, a stray cat, or the occasional street dog. But of all the things you could find, a golfer seems highly unlikely. Well, it seems like this golfer took the meaning of a hole-in-one a bit too seriously when he got his head stuck in a trash can. As usual, friends and bystanders decided to click record first and help later, but the golfer didn't seem too upset about it. He can now confidently say he knows what it means to feel like trash. Stuck in power lines. Paragliding isn't for everyone, and it can be very dangerous if you don't land correctly. In 2020, one unlucky Californian paraglider found himself trapped in the power lines, which is just as dangerous as it sounds. He was stuck there for 3 hours, but luckily the Pacific Gas and Electric Company quickly shut off the power to avoid any mishaps. Once free, he was quickly taken to the hospital where he made a full recovery.
Up in the power lines, you can see the man now. He appears to be strapped in, but is, for all intents and purposes, kind of dangling.
Trapped in sewer bars. Falling down into the sewer has to be everybody's nightmare. I mean, just look at what happened to Georgie. Well, for this 16-year-old girl in China, it was reality. Her legs actually managed to get trapped in between the iron bars of a sewer grate. She simply slipped and couldn't escape, which caused her to call firefighters for help. The team promptly arrived at the scene, and it took them just 10 minutes to set her free. While she only suffered a few scratches, I imagine she'll be having sewer nightmares for quite some time. A wedding to remember. Swings are usually meant for kids and toddlers, so they generally aren't designed with adults in mind. The best man at this wedding, however, doesn't seem to know or have any concern for that. It appears as though he chose the wrong day to relive his childhood and go on a swing because, you guessed it, he got well and truly stuck. Thankfully, there was the groom and his friends there to set him free, although getting him out wasn't easy. This wedding will probably be remembered more for the best man man's shenanigans than the actual ceremony.
Get it off! Stop. Hold on. No. Ow! Yo, that hurts! Smash away! Ow!
How did your feet fit in there?
High chairs aren't fun. 15-year-old Addison Trent and her friends somehow thought that sitting in a high chair at a fast food joint would be a good laugh. What they didn't expect was for Addison to actually get herself stuck. Even the restaurant staff couldn't help but be amused at the ridiculous situation. The staff and Addison's friends tried pulling her arms and legs in different directions, but she just couldn't get out. They eventually had to call firefighters in, and they simply disassembled the chair and managed to free her.
Oh. Come on, Addie.
Yeah, Addie.
You know.
Seatbelts save lives? Safety belts are meant to protect you in the event of an accident. But one girl by the name of Sierra managed to turn this safety device into a hazard. This situation is actually quite traumatic for her because she can't move or breathe properly. Safety belts are pretty simple, so you can't help but wonder how she managed to get tangled. Now, they could cut the belt, but a special device is needed since the belts are so tough and robust. In the end, they managed to untangle Sierra, and it all worked out. Playgrounds are for kids. Some adults never really grow up, but what this guy tried takes that statement to a whole nother level. It seems like he didn't really understand that acting like a kid and being the size of a kid are two different things. Take a look at how he somehow managed to get himself stuck in a really tight yellow tube.
Come on, Martez.
I shouldn't have gone down on my knees as a problem.
That's why I said don't do that.
Yeah, that seems to be a problem for you quite often.
My leg's stuck now.
This is so going on YouTube.
The boy in a tree. You might have seen videos or movies where cats need to get rescued from trees, but what about little boys? Major Ashmore is a 6-year-old boy with a mission to climb as many trees as he can, but it seems he needs to spend a little more time learning how to get down. Ashmore climbed a 15-meter tree that was too high for his comfort and couldn't get down. Of course, he was scared, but luckily his mom was around and promptly called 911. One of the rescuers stated that in all his 23 years of service, this was the first time he had seen a boy stuck in a tree and not a cat. Let's hope he'll stick to smaller trees next time. So, who do you think was the unluckiest of them all? Let us know in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel with notifications on to make sure you never miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.